Hello, and thank you for joining us for episode 9 of CX Talk. I am Dave Murray, senior consultant here at the DiJulius Group, and alongside me, as always, is John DiJulius. Hello, John.
Hello, Dave. Hello, everyone. Welcome back for another exciting CX Talk.
Yes, glad to be back. It seems like I haven't seen you in a while. We've both been traveling quite a bit.
We have, and it's humid and my hair's curling up. Did you know I had curly hair, Dave?
Yes, it's very humid. It's going to cool off tomorrow, though. So.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Better than the alternative.
That's true. Beats the snow.
So, I'm going to open up with a really interesting fact I read in Seth Godin's book, Linchpin, where Seth talks about, basically the thesis is employees would rather be criticized than totally ignored, which is really interesting. And it got me thinking. This Gallup poll conducted that 40% of employees who are completely ignored are disengaged at work, versus employees are criticized. Only 22% are disengaged at work, which obviously means it's better to criticize than totally ignore. Hopefully we aren't going to do either, but employees don't want to feel, totally irrelevant.
Mm-hmm. Interesting point. It's basically saying that even lousy feedback is better than no feedback.
Right.
As long as I'm hearing something from you, I'm going to give a little more of my job.
Yeah, so I think it's really important to make sure that we are all addressing our employees on a regular basis. Constructive, not necessarily criticized, but definitely praised for, if nothing else, showing up to work every day.
Right. Putting in their effort.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, it's interesting. I wanted to talk about an article that I recently read by Fred Reichheld from Bain & Company, the creator of Net Promoter Score.
Yeah.
It's kind of along those same lines, but it looks at employees as they're leaving your organization. The title of the article, which was on his LinkedIn page, I thought was great. It was 4 Reasons Not to Be a Jerk When Employees Say Goodbye. And I think what happens out there...
And be a jerk as the boss?
Yes, right. So why you as an organization should treat your employees well even when they're leaving.
Right.
And what typically happens, I think, out there, and I've seen this myself in some cases, there's either a feeling of lack of loyalty, lack of trust, whatever it is, disappointment that the person's leaving. And so a lot of times that person may be made to feel alienated, made to feel that they're not part of the team anymore.
It's a breakup.
It is. It is a breakup.
And there's always, look at all I did for you.
Mm-hmm.
How could you do this to me? On both sides of the fence.
It is. He brings up some interesting points though, about why you should treat them well. The first one is for your word of mouth, right? We talk about this all the time, that the experience that you provide is your biggest competitive advantage. That experience isn't just for your customers, that's for your employees as well as your internal customers, right? So if you're treating employees badly as they're walking out the door, that word of mouth is going to start to spread in a negative way about your organization. So that was one point that I thought was
I may be jumping the gun and maybe something you're going to say next, but that works in social media, right?
Right.
Just like our customers, our former employees are brand evangelists or brand terrorists.
Well, especially these days, there are platforms out there that are seeking employees to post.
Glassdoor.com.
Yes.
Right.
They're actively looking for employees to post negative or positive comments about an employer. Another great point he brought up was your future revenue and your future growth. A lot of companies probably don't think about this, but if you're growing and you're going to be around for a long time, eventually you're going to have more former employees than you have current employees. So they are potential customers, potential referrals, all these things. They know your business, so they might be more likely to refer someone to you if you've had a good relationship. So another good point that I thought Fred broke up. And again, another point he made, which I thought was probably the most important, is the message it sends to the people that are still there. Right? If I see people being shown the door in a bad way, it may make me not feel as good about the organization when I'm still here. So he brought up some really good points as to why...
Dave, you said 4 reasons. I think you only gave 3.
I did only give 3. I was trying to...
All right. I want to make sure my math is okay.
I do have
Did you forget the 4th?
No, I have it right here.
Right.
I have it. I was just going to skip it. But the 4th one is another good one because it's happened to me twice in my career. You may hire that person again.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. Or hire a referral that they give you. So maintain that relationship for someone. If they already fit in your culture once, it may make sense to bring them back again, or someone that they are acquainted with.
Yeah, that's really important. I always say we want to be a jerk-free facility. You know, we're thinking about employees, but we don't and haven't spent enough time with the exit strategy with our leadership. And you know, it is something that I think is a good exercise to visit with your leadership team, because you know, someone's going to be offended. Right. And we have to, you know, keep that, you know, and have kind of a protocol on how we go our separate ways and look good and take the high road regardless of it. So, just out of curiosity, how do you like to be let go?
Very nicely.
Okay.
And with a big exit bonus.
All right. Well, that is great. Good stuff.
Yes.
The Customer Experience Executive Academy, preparing customer service executives to lead, design, and manage the customer experience. Applications for 2015 courses now being accepted. Find out more at cxeacademy.com.
Welcome back to CX Talk, and John, we now have a special treat. Joining us today from his office in Atlanta, Georgia is Dan Thurmon. Now, Dan is the author of 2 books. He's a renowned speaker and recognized as an expert in delivering peak performances. He is the president of Motivation Works Incorporated. He's also recently inducted into the Speaker Hall of Fame. And he's going to talk at the summit about his current book, Off Balance on Purpose. So please welcome Dan joining us. Hello, Dan.
Hello. How are you guys doing today?
We are great. Thank you for making the time to be here.
Hey, Dan, I just want to ask you, so do they do PED testing to make into the Hall of Fame?
Not an issue for me.
All right, good. You're clean. But you know, I've seen you, and you know, you can tell you're pretty fit. So we're so excited to have you. You're a legend. Our audience is gonna love it. And if anyone's known any of our attendees watching this are from previous summits, we have the closing speaker is always amazing to keep you there, and Dan is truly amazing. So Dan, his topic is off balance on purpose, and I am excited personally because I have half of this. Your title, I'm off balance. Unfortunately, it's not on purpose. I'm trying to be like everyone, super professional, super dad, super everything, and you know, sometimes, Dan, I feel like I'm failing at it all. So what can our attendees look forward to learning from your keynote?
Well, the first thing they can look forward to is a phenomenal experience in the tradition of your amazing conference. I promise to deliver a performance, a presentation, an experience that really kind of embodies everything that you believe about customer service, which is about managing your customers' expectations, delivering beyond that, and just creating wow moments and excitement. So yes, it will be high energy, it will be impactful, but it'll also be really useful, not just for how they run their businesses or think of providing service, but how they design their lives. You mentioned being a great dad, being a great, an entrepreneur, a business owner. You know, all of these factors play into who you are as a person. And we've been sold this idea that you've got to balance it all perfectly. You have to make this perfect allocation of your time, your resources, your money in order to achieve balance. And basically, off balance on purpose is about the idea that that's an unrealistic, unattainable goal, and really it's a myth. You'll never achieve perfect balance. So I kind of liberate people from that unrealistic expectation and encourage people to live off balance, to embrace uncertainty, but to make it intentional, make it on purpose.
Right, and I love that because as you say in your speech, and you know, I feel like we're having a one-on-one conversation. I feel guilty all the time. You know, there's someone. If I'm at home and on vacation, I feel like I'm neglecting my clients and my employees and the business, and then vice versa. And it's that guilt that is really, I mean, it builds up on you.
Yeah, and the corrosive effect of that guilt is not just what it does to your health and your sanity, but the fact that you don't experience the most of your present moments. and you add technology into that in terms of how we're constantly plugging in and distracted by our devices. And it really causes this conflict where it's difficult to be present at work because we're feeling the obligations that we're not there to tend to. And then when we're home and we're with the people we care about, it's hard to disengage from our professional responsibilities. So what I help people try to understand is how it's all connected and how success in one area can fuel success in another area, and that your choices in life don't have to be mutually exclusive. They can be mutually supportive if you flip your thinking and find ways to connect what matters most.
And that's what I'm most excited about. There's three things. I mean, your presentation, so the Secret Service Summit's about, creating a customer service revolution, changing the world by creating a customer service revolution. And we're teaching all these great companies about, delivering an experience. And your presentation, while it's fantastic and on point, is an experience unlike any other presenter. I mean, you are being entertained, but great takeaways. So that's what I'm excited about. I'm excited about that, as we're talking, all these leaders in the audience, are battling with what you're talking about. But on the third angle, I see it also a balance, all these companies also talk about, being stuck on flavor of the month, program of the year, management by bestseller. And they do get all jacked up on a topic when they leave an event, and customer service, and sometimes when they're focused too much on customer service, sales or marketing or finance or something then suffers. And so we're all balancing those key things and the employees' mind share of trying to get all this information from every department in front of the employee and in front of their mind. So I see everything you say is so relative in so many areas to our audience.
Well, great. And you alluded to the experience that I'm going to deliver. I hope you don't mind, but I can just kind of tease everybody and give them some of the details behind that. So my whole life I've been a performer, and I really came from an entertainer background, a gymnast background. So I have skills as an acrobat, as a juggler, as a unicyclist that I've really been honing and perfecting my entire life. And I've maintained those skills because they help me to teach my audiences about how we can manage our focus, how we can perform at our best when it really matters the most, and you have those moments to rise to the occasion. And it also helps me just illustrate some really key concepts, like going off balance on purpose on a 6-foot-tall unicycle. You literally lean forward and start falling toward your face in order to engage that process of moving forward into the uncertainty, which is a great metaphor for life, because what I say is, if we limit ourselves to what's comfortable, you just deny yourself what's possible. We have to be comfortable with making ourselves uncomfortable and embracing that for the right reasons. So yeah, it'll be very visual, a lot of entertainment value, but all the entertainment and everything that I do physically and to engage the audience is really only there to support and to teach these concepts. So it's pretty cool.
And I have a question for you, Dan, because what I was curious about, and you started to touch on it right there, at what point did you realize that you could use your talents as an entertainer and as a gymnast combined with your degree from the University of Georgia to make that your career? That must have been a pretty cool moment.
Yeah, it was a really cool moment. It kind of one that snuck up on me because I got a business degree while I was pursuing and building my own business. I paid my way through college, through performing, and by building a production company, which ultimately planned some larger events and hired other entertainers, and it was a pretty big deal. And so all the while I was doing this and learning about the business disciplines of management marketing, I was running my own business, and I was also on the side a huge just student of personal development. I was constantly listening to the next Nightingale Conant series from Brian Tracy or Zig Ziglar or Les Brown, or you name it, Jim Rohn, all of these great minds, and I was feeding my mind with these positive impressions and ideas. Excuse me. Not because I thought I would ever do that myself one day, but because I benefited from it, I learned from it. And so, it just kind of at some point these paths were all merging, and my business background, my personal development interests, my performance abilities, I kind of realized there was this whole world. If I could combine them all into something new, that I might have something myself to offer and to teach to the world.
Very cool. What a great story.
And that is good. So were you asking because you have you're going to start entertaining while you speak?
I might go learn to juggle, yes.
Yeah, no, let's stay away from that.
I can help you with that.
Yeah, and this is cool because, you're talking about all those legends, and now you're one, and you really are. And, when I tell people that this year's Secret Service Summit lineup is probably be the best we've ever had, they don't believe me. They think I'm just overhyping it because we have had so many amazing speakers. But we have a great lineup, and there's a reason that you're last, and I can't thank you enough for being a part of it. Everyone's going to walk away with something, and I can't wait to hear it myself as a student. In your presence. So we're really excited, Dan, and thank you so much for being a part of it.
Well, I can't wait, John. You built an amazing event, and the reason I'm doing it is because I can't wait to meet your audience and to follow in the footsteps of all the great speakers who came before me, and we're going to have a ton of fun.
Dan Thurmon, thank you so much for joining us today, and we're really looking forward to seeing you in person in September.
10 speakers, 2 days, 1 event. The Secret Service Summit, America's #1 customer experience conference. Tickets available now at secretservicesummit.com.
Well, again, we would like to thank Dan Thurmon for taking the time to join us today. I am really looking forward to seeing him at the summit this year.
Dan is a Hall of Fame speaker, and you get to see why. We have a great lineup.
Absolutely. It's exciting. So next on our agenda today, John, is to talk about Chapter 5. We are up to Chapter 5 in the Customer Service Revolution.
Yes.
And so Chapter 5 is all about day in the life.
Yes, one of my favorite chapters. I love the day in the life. The day in the life, creating a day in the life video, story, whatever you want, is so important. And you can do this from still pictures. Everyone needs to do it. And so creating a day in the life is really about creating compassion and empathy for your employees, your frontline employees that are interacting with the customer. Because in so many businesses we work with, and almost any business I could think of, a lot of times the frontline employee has never been the customer.
Right.
And it could be age, economic status. So, you look at, some of our clients, the maids. Mm-hmm. Literally, the maids are cleaning houses for $500,000 homes or bigger. Mm-hmm. Housewives that, maybe don't work. And so, there's a disconnect. Anytime Fitness, their average employee is, in their young 20s. Their average customer is, a female in her 40s, trying to lose weight. Right. So, I don't know about you, but when I was in my young 20s, I couldn't relate to either. Exactly. Trying to lose weight, that was, our metabolism was so high. So, the answer isn't changing who you hire, but it is, making sure that they understand the plight of a person, what's going on in their day. So we help companies create a day in the life of a customer, story, video, scenarios, and it's about just seeing the different aspects of your customer's day, from the stress at home, stress at work, all the balls that they have up in the air, and then also what's related to how you can solve, how you can come to the rescue with what you serve. And even in the consulting practice, right? Consultants are dealing with a lot of CEOs, CFOs, COOs, and, sometimes we don't know what it's like to be a CEO of a publicly held company and the pressure of Wall Street and the board of advisors and all that goes on. So right. Every one of us has to try to better understand that. You have experiences with that? With some of your favorite days in the life of a customer?
Yeah, I love showing them, and I love getting feedback when we use them in a presentation, because usually a lot of people, they are so over the top. Does it have to be that dramatic? Does it have to make me cry? But you have to look at it from the standpoint of that you're setting the tone for the way you want your future employees to think about your customers. So it's so important to send that message the right way on the first day. And so that's why I think they're so effective.
Yeah, and I say, the day in the life should be an emotional roller coaster. 3-minute video presentation, whatever it is, but it's not all negative. Your customers aren't all going through bad things. Some of them are going through great things. But, we need to, be there, be present, and make sure that we are, present with them and not looking at them as our 10:30 conference call.
Right.
Our sixth haircut of the day, room 201B. Whatever it may be, we need to look at them as who they are and what they might be going through and how we can come to the rescue. So I think you'll really enjoy Chapter 5 and doing an exercise with your staff on creating a day in the life of the customer. What do you got coming up?
Well, we have a lot of classes coming up, actually. So we will have a presentation skills class coming up in June, taught by you. We will also have people coming back to Cleveland for a relationship center class. Turning your call center into a relationship center. We had one of those for the first time a few months ago.
Relationship center class, not to be confused like with Match.com.
It is not Match.
Or Tinder.
No, not Tinder.
Okay.
Not Tinder. It's making sure that your call center employees understand the importance they have in building those relationships and getting them out of that transactional thinking and really focusing on the people that they're dealing with on the phones.
Correct, which isn't really, on the call center representatives itself, it's more management.
Right, and when you think about all the metrics that are out there, so many things that call centers use to measure themselves are doing just the opposite.
Right.
As opposed to building a relationship, they're focused on getting that person off the phone, get to the next call, and not focus at all on how we're helping that customer and how well we're helping that customer.
And the opportunity to listen and be your ambassador of your customer experience.
Right.
We also, as we've talked about the summit this year, the 2015 Secret Service Summit, September 29th and 30th, has something it's never had before. We're doing breakout rooms.
Yes, we are.
So you can get your team members, your leadership team, and divide and conquer. And there's several breakout rooms. You won't be able to go to all of them, but your team members can. So we do have the call center one. We have one. We have so many this year. CRM, customer management. The one we heard last month with Patrick Theme on accelerating key growth through dashboards of key performance indicators.
Right.
You're doing a couple other ones. How to select and hire and train a customer experience officer or chief customer officer.
Right.
I'm doing a breakout this year, which is for the first timers that you bring. They've never seen my original customer service revolution speech. That I will be doing that in a breakout because there are a lot of first timers that people bring.
Right.
So we got a bunch. We got Holly, Steele, we got AJ, Vaden. We got so many amazing breakouts on customer loyalty and just a wide range of subjects. So look that up and make sure you know which ones that are right for which people that are attending this year's Secret Service Summit.
Absolutely. So whether it's an upcoming class or the summit itself in September, we are looking forward to seeing you sometime soon. And thank you for joining us for episode number 9 of CX Talk.
See you next time.
CX Talk is brought to you by the DiJulius Group. Follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter, and visit our YouTube channel monthly for more entertainment and education with John and Dave on CX Talk.